Hello everybody, it's Laura Husband here from Hairdressers Journal International, and I'm joined today by Brandon Messenger, who is the creative director at In Session Salons. He's also a UK Denman UK ambassador and a UK Greenhouse Scissors UK ambassador. Wow, there's a mouthful there, Brandon, that you've got going on there. Busy man, aren't you? But we're thrilled to have you.
Getting there.
Oh, exactly. Well, thrilled to have you with us today for this cutting tutorial. Do you want to maybe just give us a little bit of an outline about what you're going to be sharing with us today on your model, Amelia?
Yeah, sure. Pleasure to be here. Always fun. So my model Amelia, she's kind of rocked this really cool mullet for the past couple of years, and she got in contact with me recently and wanted a bit of an update. She wants to keep it quite choppy and textured and beachy. She loves messing it about. She's just kind of a get up and go. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be showing you guys how to work internal lengths and seamlessly marry them into disconnection for just a really soft, choppy feel. So what I'll do is I'll actually grab Amelia over and get her sat down into position.
Amazing. And just while you're doing that, Brandon, I'm just going to say to everyone, we're doing this cutting tutorial. We've had a lot of demand for a cutting tutorial, so we hope you're all going to really enjoy this. And anyone who's tuning in live via Zoom or via Facebook, please do ask questions as we go along. Brandon will be happy to answer them, and I'll read them out for you. So fantastic. Well, welcome, Amelia, as well.
Hi. So I'll just talk you through my sectioning real quick. I've cut the other side beforehand, but we've done it's a horseshoe section that extends to a point just above the occipital bone. And the reason why I like to do it like that is so that if there is any problem areas that do arise in that crown section, we've got everything isolated and we can address them as we go on. It's something that I like to do, especially when working with new people that I'm not familiar with. Although I have cut Amelia's hair before, it's just kind of a good habit, I'd say. So I'm going to be working diagonal back sections. I've already cut my first section. And the thing with this is knowing what to drop out and when to drop out. So I'm actually going to just go up. I'm going to cut a square line in there, and I'm dropping out this length in here. And as you can see, it seamlessly blends and marries right in there. And that's due to the nature of how a square layer collapses onto disconnection. So I'm going to continue to mirror my sections on diagonal backs. So with this, there's no over direction. I'm just coming straight out from the head shape. I will be over directing as I progress through the haircut, but I usually start my over direction at a point just behind the ear. So again, working on diagonal sections, and we're going to start to extend into the nape area. Now, with haircuts like this, when working with a lot of disconnection, and the beauty of this is it works really well on various different lengths of hair. And it also allows you the freedom to go in and sculpt out and personalize little pieces as you go. But this is a real versatile technique that works on a multitude of different haircuts. So the only thing I would say to watch out for, if you do attempt something like this, is just those real fiddly areas that I'm coming into now, just by the back of the ear as the hair extends into that nape area.
Yep.
Cool.
And also, Brandon, I should just ask, because obviously Amelia's got a mask on and clients in salons do have to wear masks now.
Yes.
Do you have any hints and tips for cutting around with the mask on? Because we can see you've just been doing that there.
Yeah, so I mean, with Amelia's look currently, it's not so much of a big deal as we are dropping out that outer length to maintain the length around the perimeter. However, if we're working shorter lengths, what I will say to my client is, as I'll just comb the hair back like this, I'll unhook the mask and I'll hold it down there like that. And I'll just ask them, would you mind just holding it like that there? This allows you the freedom to get around, you know, those hard to reach places. But with something like this, we're quite lucky because it's not a massive problem.
Fantastic. We've just had a question come in saying, will this be disconnected?
Yes, so I'm working my disconnection now. As you can see, I'm just, if you just like to face the wall a sec, Amelia, Yeah, you can stay like that for a little while. So as you can see, let me just show you here what we're doing. You could see my square line, you could see my disconnection drop out. And again, when you're keeping your layers square, do you see how it seamlessly blends and transitions into the disconnection like that? So when you're working disconnection, I'd say be very careful what cutting line you choose. Generally, if I am working disconnected lengths, I will go square. On the odd occasion, if it's competitive, I will go triangular, but it just depends on what what we are trying to achieve. Like when I first cut Amelia's hair, was it last year?
Yeah.
Last year for the Fame Team Finals, we went a lot shorter and our lines were a bit more triangular. So what that did was is it built up this really beautiful weight line further up the head. So it really created this dip in the head, especially when you looked at it front on, almost like an anti-head shape. And you know, disconnection is something, it's such a great tool to work with, and I feel like it's timeless. It works on any age. Like I'll use it on my older clients, like especially with the short hair, if they want a little bit of softness around the perimeter. It's brilliant because you can control that perfectly. Now I know some people they like to section off their disconnections. Me personally, I don't, because I feel that it sits a lot nicer when it's done kind of organically and visually. And for me, it's all about the imperfections that make the haircut perfect. You know, those little details of personalization. And yeah.
We've had another question come through as well, Brandon. Do you use this technique for many other hairstyles?
Yes, I do. You know, you could use it for example, say if we were going purely short on Amelia here, if you just that way and pop forward. If we were going purely short on Amelia here, we could actually continue our lines on right the way to the bottom. But for this, I'm just dropping out. And again, this works on a multitude of different lengths. As you can see, there's our square line, there's our disconnection, and we comb it down, and it's just a really beautiful, seamless transition.
Fantastic. So you would amend your disconnection style depending on whether you wanted to go for a more salon-friendly client look or something maybe for more something more session, or like you said, for your competitive work.
Definitely. I mean, it's all about what you're doing at the time, and it's all about personal preference. It's very important during the consultation process to listen to, you know, what the client wants, what they're after, what their needs are, and to see if it fits in with, you know, if what you're doing fits in with what they want, and vice versa. So like generally I won't just decide to just go nuts on Amelia's hair. We've had a talk today. She's told me what she wanted. She's given me a certain amount of free reign, but nothing that's too nuts. So it's always important to, you know, just listen and understand your clients when they're talking to you, and you can't really go wrong. Okay, so that's that side cut. So just a quick recap. We've taken initial section diagonal back. We've worked our cross graduation line to a point just behind the ear. Then we've started over directing everything back just to build up some weight and to give it more of a feminine head hugging feel. So if I just get Amelia to stand at the profile, you can see clearly here where the head dips in and where our short length is sitting. So this is going to give us that beautiful head shape, and it's going to allow her to keep all of this length. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to release this top section, the crown area, and I'm going to bring everything forward.
You've got Nadine has said, could you teach this to a level 3 class?
Certainly, yeah, just shoot me a message, I'll be happy to.
Fantastic, Nadine. So if you reach out to Brandon and maybe on Instagram, it's Brandon Messenger Hair on Instagram, isn't it, Brandon?
Yep, Brandon Messenger Hair, yes it is.
Perfect.
So
we've had a few comments on your comb as well, Brandon.
I'm missing some teeth.
Yeah, I think some people spotted that.
I've got red hands, and I was coloring last night and I broke some teeth. I'm sorry. Luckily for this, I'm employing maximum tension and my teeth on my tension side are fine. But yeah, I broke it last night, and as you can see, the red all over my hands, caught red-handed.
As everyone can see, you've been working hard, clearly.
I know that's the thing during lockdown, and you know, with all of this going on, it's so important to still have fun, and it's important to, you know, to still kind of keep your craft in check. You know, it's a perfect time to learn. It's,
Definitely.
you know, I don't know about everyone else at home, but I've been really utilizing my time as best I can. I've been putting out tutorials for people, and I just love the craft so much. So like normally, what I'd be doing anyway is I'll do about 10 haircuts a week on a block personally, just for fun. So it's always good to keep the gears oiled.
Definitely. And then Ivana said this is almost looks like a mullet cut.
It is.
Yeah.
It is like Amelia. So Amelia, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen her. She's rocked a mullet for a couple of years now, and it's really funny because I didn't realize how grown out it was. So I'm literally just going through with clean line work, just reinforcing that shape. Nothing too nuts, as we did say we wanted to keep the length. Well, she's got the length. There it is. Just a little bit of an update. Amelia's actually off to Amsterdam. Is it next week?
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
There we go. Tomorrow morning to do a shoot. So, you know, she put a message up on Facebook saying, "Can somebody help sort my mullet?"
I was so happy.
This was perfect
like,
timing then, wasn't it?
I'm your man. Pick me. Pick me.
Oh, it was perfect for it. Needed the mullet chop.
Perfect. You're going to be rocking that mullet in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And Margaret has asked, she says that you said you went shorter into the nape of the neck. Was that to get the great shape that you've been putting in?
Exactly. So like generally, whenever I work, say graduation or even shapes like this, I'll always rest my short point just kind of on the occipital bone. That way all of this length, you know, it'll sit nice and flat into the head, into the nape, and when she turns to the profile, as you saw before, she's got that really beautiful head hugging anti-head shape. So I'm just drawing a central section. And this central section is, if we want to go back to sitting from the side, there we go. Cool, let me just move the camera. So again, you can see that shape in there, right there. And when that dries, it's going to be really beautiful, really desirable shape. So we've cut the back, and I'm now going to bridge the gap between the back and the top. I'm going to be using the back short point as a guide, and I'm going to be working short to long. So there's my short point there.
Oh, you might have to lift your camera up a little bit just so we can see the top. That's it.
Technical difficulties. There we go.
Perfect. Yep, go for it.
So
Karen said that she's loving the modern cut, but yeah, you go back to telling us what you're doing there, Brandon.
So right now I'm just working this central section short to long, and I think what I'm going to do, because we're running out of hair and I want to give Amelia something a little bit substantial, is because she's got all this color on her ends, so we're trying to kind of get it off. We are going to chop into it later. What I'm doing now is I'm shifting my lines more into square. Now Amelia said she wants to keep generally the similar length that she's got in her fringe area. So what I'm doing is I'm not going to be rounding off with the head. I'm going to be keeping everything square, and then at the end I'm going to be visually slicing her fringe out. I think with cuts like this, it's really nice to be free and visual, yeah. Because they've got so much personality, and I feel like if you're not, you know, reacting to that personality in the haircut, then it's not really gonna sit the same.
That's a great point there, Brandon. And actually, we've had a question that ties in nicely with that. The question is, many hairstylists will do for clients what the client would want. What percentage of your work is hair cutting, and do you do what your clients want, or do you mainly suggest to them what you think they should have?
That's a great question. So percentage-wise, I'd say 90% of the time I am cutting. And always on their first, so I've got a bit of a different way of giving my consultations. So in my consultations, I'll find out what they like about their hair, what they dislike about their hair. And then from there, it's my job to formulate a hairstyle as opposed to somebody coming in going, oh, I want the one length and I want long layers. I feel like, you know, when you go to the doctor, you don't tell the doctor what to prescribe you. Now, I always give suggestions. I'll never just do what I want, but it's nice. After a couple of visits, you know, I do get that trust with people. They do trust me. And it's really nice because they generally let me do my own thing. So most of the day I am just doing whatever I want, which is, you know, I'm extremely grateful for. But
living the dream then, Brandon.
I mean, I've got this cutting method that I work by, and it's something that I call the 4 factors and the 4 variables. So the 4 factors are a preliminary analysis of the hair before you start cutting, and it kind of tells you what you can and can't do in a nutshell, as long as you're working cleanly and methodically. And the 4 factors are suitability. You know, is the intended hairstyle going to suit that person? If it's yes, move on. Texture, you know, will the hair texture allow for the intended hairstyle? Density, are there any problem areas that I need to look out for? Is she finer around the recession? Do I need to over direct more to compensate for that? Density, texture, and growth pattern. The growth pattern is probably the most important next to suitability. So as long as your answers are yes on all of those questions, you can pretty much do whatever you want as long as you are working cleanly and methodically. So when it comes to the cutting side of things, so I've got something I call the, sorry, let me jump you off, Amelia, the 4 variables. I'm just going to pop you there.
Just before you carry on going through your 4 variables, Brandon, Nadine asked, were you cutting at 45 degrees just then?
Where, throughout the top?
Yeah.
I was cut, so along that crown area, I was going 45 degrees, but then we started running out of hair from that short to long point. So I decided we'd go square because Amelia wants to take off. You know, she's got some blonde in there and I know it's bothering her. So she does want to take that off. So we then shifted into a square layer throughout that top section once we got past the rounding of the crown there. And we carried on straight as to maintain all the length and density in the fringe. And because later on we're going to go out and we're going to personalize that fringe area, make it soft and shaggy.
Perfect, thank you.
No problem.
So you were discussing the 4 variables before I cut you off there,
yeah.
Brandon.
So the 4 variables are something that you take into consideration when cutting. So very, very important. We've got tension, elevation, over direction, and angle. So if you couple the 4 factors with the 4 variables, literally, as long as you're working clean and methodically, you can't go wrong anywhere. It's amazing. And, you know, it's something that I've been using for a long time, and it's just something that works, and it just means that I'm not committed into anything, and I can just make decisions that are based on the individual as opposed to this is how we cut this or this is how we cut that, because everyone's different. You know, your hair's as unique as your fingerprint.
That makes complete sense. Francois has asked, what about if the hair is not straight? He says this Amelia's hair looks very straight. What if it's wavy? Would all of this still work?
Most definitely. It depends, again, like lifestyle choices, what that person likes. So if me and Amelia had a consultation and she said, oh, I like my hair dead straight, you know, that would give me things to consider. You know, well, perhaps I shouldn't take it too short here because it's going to curl and it's going to kink. But generally, like with my clients, I will show them how to look after their hair afterwards. I'll physically hand my clients a brush and a dryer and say, this is the technique that I'm using today. It's very simple. The thing with the techniques that I use, I personally feel that they are very, very, very simple, because if you keep your techniques simple, if you keep your work simple, okay, we've got something that looks quite complex here, but in essence, when you break it down, it's quite simple. I find 9 times out of 10, when that client leaves the salon, goes home and replicates what you've done, they can do it with ease because you're not doing some big elaborate styling or blow dry. So I like to keep everything that I do very simple and very methodical.
Perfect. Someone's also said they'd love to see a pixie haircut from you, Brandon.
Okay. Well,
That's interesting, isn't it?
I will be doing one. I definitely will be doing one at some point. I don't know when, but keep your eyes peeled.
Fantastic. There we go. And we've also had a question saying, what about if you've got a client who has a double crown and a cow's lick as part of their hairstyle? Perfect.
Okay, this is a great question. So double crowns, again, so the reason why I isolate the way that I do in that crown area. So for example, we did a horseshoe section that extends to a teardrop point just above the occipital bone. The reason being is it allows me to have complete control of that crown area and to be able to assess and react to it. Now, some people, they draw a straight line or a straight section, keep the perfect section. I like to move my hair around, see where it wants to sit, see where it wants to behave, and then react and cut accordingly to that. That way, it's not going to, when they go home, it's not going to do anything weird. It's going to behave as you intend and as the hair intends. In regards to cow's licks, they are so easy to remove with a Denman brush. It's unreal. Like the amount of times I've heard people say, oh no, you can't have a full fringe because you've got cowlick. It's like, well, actually you can. It does require 5 minutes of styling, but literally if you've got somebody with a cowlick in your chair, next time, just grab a Denman D3, blow dry it all the way to the right, all the way to the left, all the way to the right. You're just focusing on that root area. Don't worry about the mid-lengths and ends. And you repeat this process and you blow dry it forward, and I guarantee you the cowlick will be gone, the look will be great, and your client will be happy.
Amazing. And for anyone who's watching, Brandon, because we do have quite an international audience as well as a UK audience, could you maybe explain the cow's lick if they haven't come across that term before?
Oh God, I don't know how to translate that. So a cow's lick is generally you'll find them in the front hairline if the hair really jumps and wants to prominently split. It's all about, it goes back to the 4 factors, analyzing the growth pattern. So when doing your consultations, you go, right, okay, she's got a prominent jump here. This is something that I'm going to need to be able to react to. So a cowlick is a real strong growth pattern along the front hairline. And a double crown is obviously where you've got, well, it could be 2. I've seen people with more spirals in their crown area, but double crown, obviously double, is 2.
Fantastic. You explained that very well there, Brandon. Thank you.
That's all right. Right, so I've worked through the sides now. I've just nipped off that corner because what I don't want it to do is I don't want there to be a prominent disconnection throughout the top. So we've literally just nipped off that corner. I'm going through the central section here. And because we've nipped it off, we'll find a triangular section in the top. And I'm literally just going to bash out that triangle. And that's just going to get rid of any unwanted weight.
Brilliant.
There we go. There's a triangle. And there it goes out.
We've had some questions regarding clients and wearing face masks in the salon,
Yes.
Brandon. And yes. Peter's been asking, saying that he feels very confused about the guidelines as to when clients have to wear their mask during the salon.
Yeah.
How are you doing it in your salon?
Well, they recently changed the laws and I've not been back yet. So I've just been wearing the visor. So when I get back, I'll be wearing the face mask as well. You know what? It is confusing, but I think at this time we all just need to kind of just pull together and do what needs to be done. As much as I absolutely hate them and I hate the visors, especially when I get real to a precision cut and the glare's real and I'm trying to get those clean lines, it is annoying, guys. But you know what? It's not going to be around forever. We've got to do our part, you know, so that everyone is safe. Because it's family, friends, loved ones, clients, you know, you want them coming back, and you want the people that you love safe in your life. So it's just something that has to be done.
Definitely, that's great, Brandon. And Peter, we would recommend you read the latest government guidelines, as obviously there were changes made in time for Saturday, the 15th of August. But clients.
Well, there more changes?
So the Saturday, the 15th of August ones, it's what you were just saying there, Brandon, that
yes,
in the salon, as a stylist, you've got to wear both the type 2 face mask as well as a visor. And then obviously the week before that, it was announced that clients also have to wear masks within the salon too.
Yeah. So real quick, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you, if I just stand you up, Amelia, what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to dry this all very visually with my hands, but I just want to show you guys what I've done and just recap everything. So if you just stand from the profile, and I will get this off the hook. So this is another thing as well. Like sometimes when people say they want to keep their hair choppy, I won't even go into it with, you know, texturizers, and I won't even soften it down, because sometimes those blunt lines can just give you all the choppiness that you need. But as you could see, she's got that beautiful head hugging shape in there. And if I turn you to the back, got some different colors going on here, which is fine. We're actually going to color Amelia's hair after, which is cool. We're thinking mint green.
Oh, gorgeous. Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing the after of that, Brandon, which obviously we won't get time to do during this live session itself. But
no, but as you could see, she's got this real beautiful, desirable, again, even if you chop this length off, like say to here, short, this is a very lovely commercial look. This and here, this is really soft, playful, you know.
I asked for like shaggy and choppy, so yeah, it's amazing. I love it.
oh, amazing.
Soggy. It's a new cut. Right, and if you just want to turn to the front, let me just gather her hair round. So as you can see, we've kept her length. We've visually dropped everything out. And there we are. So horseshoe section, worked across graduation, that side, sorry, thank you, and the other side, isolated that crown area, cut the crown into the rest of the length, worked a 45-degree angle to a point just above the crown, kept everything square, squared off all of our lines internally, and then just dusted the corners off so it falls nicely into that length. Cool. So I'll finish this for you guys later, and I'll send you pictures.
Amazing. And Brandon, you've been an absolute pro in that you've completely stuck to time, which has been fantastic. But we've got quite a few questions that have come in. So if you've got a bit of time for us to answer.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, perfect. So Donna was asking about the cow's lick, which we spoke about a bit earlier. And she said, what about when your client is at home? Will they still have issues with the cow's lick? And is it better to do the cutting for them so that they don't have to worry about it?
So when it comes to cutting a cow's lick, I would advise to employ minimal tension, if not natural fall, whilst cutting the cow's lick. For your clients to go home and replicate the look that you've created in the salon, I would teach them how to get really good with the D3. Honestly, the learning curve is so small. It's literally left, right, left, right, left, right. I mean, when you think women are using like round brushes and straighteners and whatnot, you don't have to do any of that. Just a normal Denman D3, left, right, left, right, left, right, forward, forward. That's it. Cowlick gone. Unless they've got real prominently textured hair or real like ringlet, like phone cable curls. Yeah.
Fantastic. And Margaret is saying she's been loving your tutorial this morning. Simone's also saying it's beautiful. And we're getting people asking, are there any other cut demonstrations that they can access?
Yeah, I mean, so if anyone wants to add me on Facebook, I'm Brandon Kirk Messenger. I've got this really cheesy photo of me. I'm tattooed and I'm doing this. If you add me on Facebook, every now and again, like on the weekends, I like to do like virtual classes. Super cheap, takes you through amazing salon-friendly tutorials. I don't tend to do anything nutty or creative on there unless I'm requested. But yeah, if you add me on Facebook or add me on Instagram, shoot me a message. I'm always happy to help, always happy to talk, and always happy to share.
Amazing. And Amy's saying she's loving your tutorials and training methods. You explain everything very clearly. So a lot of love for you here, Brandon. And it sounds like we're definitely going to have to get you back to do another tutorial. Everyone's loving what you're doing for us. We've had one question saying, could you go over the double crown part? She missed that part of it.
So, you know, normally with the crown area where you kind of split the crown and then you cut the crown once you've split it from the top of the head. So if you just kind of just move your comb around and just see how the hair wants to behave, let it do its thing, let it jump into its place and cut it accordingly to the place that it jumps to. It might feel completely alien, but trust me, as long as you're following the growth pattern of their hair, because obviously when you get a double crown, it spirals out in different ways. So if you're looking at that and if you're cutting that accordingly, honestly, you can't go wrong and you'll be surprised by the results. Sometimes the best approach to something visual is more of a visual approach as opposed to a technical approach. So you're being methodical in the way that you're going about it. However, you're reacting to the visual nature of the growth pattern.
Amazing. Thank you, Brandon. And Elia said, could you do this look on Afro hair?
I mean, I'm not going to say you couldn't. I'm going to say you'd have to be very, very, very careful. But more importantly, you'd have to find out your client's routine. Because obviously with Afro hairs, very visual, it's very sculptural. So, you know, if you're incorporating long disconnections, when it reverts to its natural state, you need to be able to understand in your head, like, okay, it's going to look like this. Is this what my client wants? Is this what my client can cope with? Or if you're on a photo shoot and they're game, I say go for it. But it's always important because, you know, they are an advert for your work when they leave. So if you do something that's a little bit bold and their hair reverts into a natural way that you didn't anticipate, and they're walking down the street, they're going to be like, oh my God, who did your hair? So you need to be careful.
Definitely, that's a great point there. And also, would you recommend colouring before or after the cut? Obviously, in this scenario, you've done the cut first and you'll be colouring it after. So
I do a lot of short hair. Like, that's my thing. I love it. You give me short hair, I could be there for days, hours. It doesn't matter how long. Me personally, it depends on what you're doing, really. But if I know somebody's coming in for a restyle, I'd prefer to cut their hair first, just so we could see what kind of shape that we've created and, you know, address any potential placements. Because, you know, the worst thing is, and we've all had it, we've had somebody come in, they've had a full head of highlights or a half head of highlights or whatever, and they've decided, you know what, I'm having a restyle. Next thing you know, they look like Tony the Tiger.
Brilliant. Fantastic. And another question, Bridget said, could you repeat quickly the 4 variables that you went through as you was doing Amelia's hair?
So this is something that I am going to be posting up on my Facebook and Instagram, but the 4 factors and the 4 variables. So the factors are suitability, growth pattern, texture, and density. And the variables are over direction, angle, over direction, angle, tension, and elevation. Sorry, brain is all over the place.
No worries, that's perfect. Thank you, Brandon. You said you'll be putting that up on your Facebook and Instagram as well.
Yes. Yeah, I'm actually going to write quite a bit about this because this is something that I love to teach. It just makes things a lot easier. You're not locked into these angles, and it's just a little bit more free.
Or maybe you could share that with us as well, Brandon.
Sure, I'd love to.
We could share that for you as well. And then someone's actually asked for your Instagram handle. It's Brandon Messenger Hair, isn't it?
Yes.
So do check him out on there. And last question, because we've had so much interest, Brandon. Everyone's been loving this cutting tutorial, and please do let us know if you'd like to see more cutting tutorials from us. As I say, this has come about from demand, which has been fantastic, and Brandon managed to get the lovely Amelia in for us. How much time do you spend with clients before cutting their hair during the consultation, and what do you do if the client insists on having a dry cut?
Oh, dry cut. Breaks my heart. Right, so I will spend as long as it takes for them to be comfortable with what I'm doing and what they want. And the most important thing is to not get lost in translation. You really need to listen to your client, so it's important to spend that time with them, even if it means running a few minutes over. So spend as much time as with them as needed so that you both are on the same page. What was the other part of that question, sorry?
And how long do you spend with your clients before cutting their hair in terms of the consultation?
Anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. If it's somebody that I know, then I'll literally be like, right, yeah, get a shampoo. We know what we're doing. I love that when clients are just like, yeah, you know, just do whatever.
You can just do your thing.
Brilliant.
And make them look amazing. Fantastic. And then one last question, because yeah, we are running out of time. And as I say, Brandon, everyone's been loving this. We've had a lot of questions coming in today.
Good.
Someone's okay. 2 more questions. Someone's asking again about your Facebook page. It was Brandon
Kirk.
Kirk. That was
Kirk. Yeah. Messenger.
Brandon Kirk
MESSENGER.
Messenger. Perfect. So Brandon Kirk, it's the Kirk in there. So Brandon Kirk Messenger for Facebook and Brandon Messenger Hair for Instagram. And then our last question before, maybe you can just show Amelia's hair once again, just before we go. As part of the consultation, would you recommend the retail shampoo to your client to take home?
Most definitely. I mean, aftercare is so important, you know. This is the thing, like people are coming in and we're not cheap, you know, what we do. So it blows my mind when people are like, oh yeah, I'll have some rosin from Boots. So it's very important, you know, you wouldn't take your Ferrari in to get, you know, hand washed somewhere. You'd take it to a proper place to get it sorted. So hair's the same, you know. You've got, if you want the best out of it, which everyone does, if they're coming to you, they want the best out of it. So, you know, generally my clients will take my advice and, you know, they'll listen to me, but you know, sometimes you do have those people, and I do understand that the products aren't the cheapest in the world, but at the end of the day, you're going to save so much in service by going with professional products.
Fantastic. And just to wrap up, Brandon, maybe you could just show Amelia's hair for us one last time.
Yeah, sure. She's playing with Goku. Do you guys want to see Goku? Actually?
Oh, we do, yes. This is Brandon's dog. We got to see him before we went live. Oh, here we go. Fantastic.
He's got an Instagram too.
Amazing. And we can do a little close-up on Amelia's hair as well.
Here we go. So as you can see, it's starting to dry naturally. It's really getting that movement and that texture in there. And to be honest with you, I'm definitely going to be finishing this with my hands. I feel like it's a lost art. Sometimes we don't need to use brushes. Sometimes our hands are our most powerful tool. But as you could see, all the transitions between the disconnection are seamlessly blended. Amazing. That looks beautiful. We can't wait to see the finished look once it's all mint green as well, Amelia, in time for your trip to Amsterdam.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us, for Amelia for being an amazing model and for Brandon for being an amazing teacher during this tutorial. Everyone has completely loved it, and I'm sure we'll have to be roping you back, Brandon, to do another one of these very soon. Most definitely, anytime. A bit more commercial next time. Oh, fantastic. Well, we've loved this look anyway. It's been fantastic. And yeah, we can mix it up a bit for the next one as well. Cool. Fantastic. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you all again very soon, I'm sure. Take care. Bye.